The New York Knicks went into Boston and absolutely stunned the NBA world with a game one victory in overtime, 108 to 105. Let alone they were down 20 points in the middle of the third quarter. They went on that massive run. And I thought from the jump, the Knicks did a really good job of playing physical and really bothering Kristaps Porzingis. You can say Kristaps was sick all you want, but what the Knicks did really good at was getting up in his space, not giving him the ability to just shoot over the top. They were just roughing him up, and Kristaps never responded to that physicality. And the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, we can't say enough about his game. He won Clutch Player of the Year. He showed it in this game. He hit those 2 step back threes to put him up 97-91. I thought at the end of the game he was going to hit that game winner. It was a really good look, but at the same time, he was phenomenal this entire game. Let's talk about OG Anunoby. I want to show these shooting splits for him. He was, actually, this is the Celtics. Let me scroll up a little bit. We'll talk about them in a moment. But OG Anunoby was 10 of 20. He was huge, 50% from the field, 54% from three. Now, we can't expect OG to shoot that well from three all the time, but they needed his buckets. I thought Cat, I know the numbers aren't going to really tell the story, but to start the game, he was really aggressive of driving to the basket, not settling for three-point shots. And I want to point this out. He only took 1 3-pointer. That's it. Attempted 1 all game long. Played 31 minutes. He had some foul trouble, but I thought for the most part, when he was in the game, he was very aggressive. He wasn't settling. 13 rebounds. That's huge. And I thought Josh Hart's hustle, even though I don't like his shooting, obviously 20% from three, you'll probably see those numbers consistently throughout the series. I thought his hustle, crashing the glass, was really pivotal in this game. He set the tone by just keeping them within the margins. The rebounding game was 49 to 59, even though Boston had 10 extra rebounds. I thought his offensive rebounding was huge in this game. As you see here, he got 5 of them for the Knicks. Now, look at the other side for the Boston Celtics. What happened? Well, first off, I thought their process on offense, now credit to the Knicks, they were very physical, but also Boston did settle for some jump shots, and they were really bad shots where they would pass to whether it's Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, or Tatum, and they would just take the first shot that was available to them. They didn't make the extra pass. They didn't move the ball around, but when they did play 5-man basketball, whether it's getting to the dunker spot, playing their drive and kick game, they were getting better looks. Now, I do believe the physicality of the Knicks was really bothering Tatum and Brown. Now, I don't like the 25 three-point attempts between your two best players because I think that's way too many shots. If it's not falling down, especially when the Knicks made their run in the middle of the third quarter. Tatum made those pull-up threes. I thought he started getting rhythm, and I think Joe Mazzulla made a big mistake by benching Jason Tatum to start the fourth quarter. That was a bad mistake because he only played 30 minutes at that point. And if Jason Tatum has a little bit of a rhythm, keep him out there. And then the Knicks made more of the run. I know Brunson didn't play at that point to start the fourth either, but it's the playoffs. You are trying to win basketball games. And when you sense the moment, you got to make sure that you get that momentum back because the Knicks, they were on a tear. You go back to that third quarter. I want to point this out to you guys because, again, they were making a massive run when it was, I believe it was 75-55. Okay. They made a 9-0 run. Now, at that point, it's like, okay, timeout. Tatum hits those back-to-back threes. Like, okay, they got it back to 15. The Knicks just kept fighting. They close it on a 9-3 run. And Horford made that three at the end of the third quarter. I still did not feel good about this offense because they were settling for contested three-point shots or catch and shoot threes that were not going in. Jaylen Brown, 1 of 10 from three. We can't forget, he did not shoot that well from three this year. Now, you could say his shooting percentage is better in the playoffs. However, you've got to just feel the moment for the Celtics. You can't just like say, okay, we're just going to outshoot the New York Knicks. You can't always do that, especially when you have the momentum, they're generating turnovers, the energy is on the Knicks side, and they believe they can win this game. So when you have them in that situation, you got to make some adjustments here. You got to play more driving kick. You can't just settle for these three-point shots. There's shots by Jaylen Brown where to start the third quarter, he was settling for pull-up threes, and he had Karl-Anthony Towns on him. And I'm like, dude, just drive the ball, even if you're missing from the mid-range or you kick it out to an open shooter. Don't settle. Jason Tatum, when it was 99-98 Celtics, settling for a three-point shot. Go to the hole. Try to draw a foul. When they started this game, they were imposing them well. They were driving to the basket, they were getting fouls, and they were getting to the free throw line. Tatum, I think, started the game with 13 points. Didn't make another shot until the end of the third quarter. So for me, the process for the Celtics offense was off. Now, credit to the New York Knicks. They were very physical. So it's a combination of the Celtics offense being bad and the Knicks defense really stepping up. I love the switching from the New York Knicks. They didn't play drop coverage. That was an excellent adjustment from Tom Thibodeau. Because if you had played that drop coverage like you did in the regular season, those looks would have been better for Boston. But that didn't happen. So credit to Tibbs for doing that. Now, for the Knicks, I want to say this. When Jalen Brunson was starting to cook and hit those step back shots for three, it was 97-91. And they were reverting to heliocentric offense. I think in those moments for the New York Knicks, you got to play more five-man basketball. Brunson holding the ball for 15 seconds for the shot clock to wind down. It makes those shots a lot tougher. And then you put yourself in the position where you got to get a shot quicker and maybe you rush a shot. And that's how Boston got back up 98-97. So if I'm the Knicks going forward, I would just try to remember, you know what? Let's make sure that, yes, Brunson just got us, a nice lead here. But let's, save his energy as we get closer to the end of the game, because you want to make sure that Brunson is fresh and that he can still go. And you're not just always relying on Brunson to just do everything out there. That's just my only critique about the offense. Now, I'm not saying you don't play that style when you need it, especially when you have Horford out there on an island with Jalen Brunson, or you have Kristaps Porzingis, assuming he ends up playing. Now, let's talk about Kristaps for a moment. His percentages in the playoffs have been dreadful. This entire playoff run has been very concerning for me when it comes to Kristaps Porzingis. We saw Orlando get physical with him. He didn't respond really well. The Knicks got physical with him in game one. He didn't respond well. And he gets sick. Again, another illness. Now, I don't want to, criticize him too much, but at the end of the day, I'm like, bro, it's the playoffs. And they are going to need Kristaps Porzingis. They're not going to afford to get away with him being out for a period of time during their second championship run. Not like last year. Because at the end of the day, we got to respect the New York Knicks. I thought when I first, made my predictions, I thought Celtics in 5. I'm going to go Celtics in 6. I'm not giving up on my team because, it's game 1 and I expect the Celtics to respond. But I will say this, for Jason Tatum, 15 3-point attempts is unacceptable. You cannot take that many shots when you're 6'8". If the shots are not falling, drive and kick. Put pressure on the Knicks defense. Make them guard you. When you have Mitchell Robinson or Towns on you, drive the ball. It's really that simple. Make the defense respond. And then you have those open threes for your Al Horfords, your Derek Whites, your Drew Holidays. Jaylen Brown, again, get to the basket. When Jaylen Brown had a moment, it was 89-89. He drove to the basket, got a layup. Knicks tied the game. What happens on the next possession? Jaylen Brown settles for a 3. There was a moment in the game where Drew Holiday took a shot and Jaylen Brown was in the dunker spot. And then he got the rebound. And Jaylen Brown didn't stay there. If he stays in that dunker spot, you throw it to him, the defense is collapsing, or he gets an easy dunk or gets fouled. That's why I don't understand. And what happens is Jaylen Brown goes to the corner 3, like he backs up and takes a wide open corner 3. I just thought it was a ill-advised shot. So it was a combination of the Knicks defense getting in the Celtics' head and the Celtics playing dumb offense. So I want to give credit to the New York Knicks, especially when you begin destroyed by the top teams. You're down 20 points in the third quarter. To make that type of comeback, all respect. Nothing but respect. I know there's Celtics and Knicks discourse out there that wants to say, oh, well, you know what? Jason Tatum's not that good and he's overrated. And the other side is like, well, the Knicks have never won a championship. Not into that. We're just talking hoops right now. And to me, I love what the Knicks did. And I know the Celtics should respond, but I'm warning them right now. Don't take 63s in a game. That's unnecessary. Now, unless the process is better, sure, you jack up the many threes, but recognize the situation. If the team is on, a 30-8 run, maybe stop taking so many threes and get some paint touches and don't settle, because you put pressure on your shooters as you start missing them. You're like, man, I'm not making any. It's going to go in eventually, and then it doesn't. Now you find yourself down 1-0. If it happens again, and the Knicks are gaining confidence, now all of a sudden it's like you're putting more pressure on yourself. So for the Celtics, got to come out swinging. You got to respond to the physicality. You got to go out there and hunt those mismatches because it's going to be there in game 2. And don't settle so much for threes. Tatum in the series against Orlando, I thought he was fantastic. His mid-range game was really good. He didn't settle for 3-point shots. He was playing within the flow of the game. I felt like he forced a lot of them. And again, 15 3-point attempts, we got to cut that down to 7. Because I think for the Celtics, they're going to need the best version of Jason Tatum if they're going to win the championship. He's not going to get away with averaging 21 to 23 points in the NBA Finals if they end up getting there. They need him at his best. So I think his 3-point attempts need to come down. Also, we don't talk about this enough. The Celtics last year, I think they averaged 42 3-point attempts a game. They took it up to 48 this year. Get to 42 again. That's the sweet spot because you're going to get quality shots. We know Tatum can get to the basket. He can shoot from the mid-range. He's still a top 5 player to me. I'm not going to go as far as say, oh, Tatum's overrated. He's a bum. He's carried by guys. No, I'm not doing that. He's phenomenal. I just think for Tatum, you got to respond, and I think he will. And again, kudos to the Knicks. I am very excited for this series. I'm glad the Knicks are making this harder than the national media expected, than the odds-on favorites that had the. I mean, the odds are crazy for Boston. But again, kudos to the Knicks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the results of Game 1 between Boston and New York. And what do you think is going to happen the rest of the series? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you in the next one.